Hi everyone and welcome to the HC6 virtual induction. We're so sad that we can't actually see you all in person today, but this presentation has been designed to ensure that each of you are ready to start the next stage of your education here with us from September, and we really can't wait to see you then. So first things first, I'd like to introduce you all to my team. So we have Mr. Hogg, who will be your head of Year 12. We have Miss Coe, who's our inclusion officer, Mr. Maltby, he's head of Year 13, and of course myself, Miss Hopkins, head of HC6, and we make up the leadership team of the sixth form. More people to meet. These guys are our tutors. So we have Mr. Inkson, Mr. Heinrich, Miss Skipper and Miss Ryan, and we also have on our team Miss Darby, Miss Bailey, Mrs. DeBra and Mrs. Warner, and they'll be your first point of contact in the day, just to make sure that everything's going smoothly for you and to introduce you to key topics and themes for the week. Okay, now then, as we're on lockdown, or well, lockdown's starting to lift a little bit, but Mr. Hogg has put together a wonderful induction video for you guys, and in it he's just welcoming you to the sixth form, but also introducing you to some of your teachers for the different subjects that you might study. What you could do is you could either pause the presentation now and watch it, there's a link to the video in the email that I've sent you, or you can hold fire and watch it at the end of the presentation. So, moving on with the presentation and everything that you need to know in order to get you ready to start with us in September. At HC6 we have really high expectations of you, of our staff and of the quality of the curriculum that you guys follow. The HC6 approach acts as a guide to how our students conduct themselves on a daily basis. Each point of the approach is designed to foster mature, compassionate and diligent individuals who, when they leave us at the end of their studies, are ready for the world of work and higher education that awaits them. We build relationships that are rooted in mutual respect, and so we ask nothing of you that we will not model ourselves. So please take a moment to pause this video and read through each of those bullet points, because it's very important that you understand the approach right from now, so that when you join us in September, you're ready to go. So for those of you that haven't joined us from Samuel Ward, you're going to need to understand how the school day works. Our school day at HC6 starts at 8:40 and it ends at 2:50, and this graphic will take you through every part of the day that you need to know. So again, if you'd like to pause and just have a look, feel free to do so. Within our school day, we have 5 compulsory lessons, and we offer some enrichment sessions at the end of the day on Tuesday and Wednesdays. You guys will have a 15-minute break and a 40-minute lunch. Now, something just to bear in mind, if you do need to resit English or maths, you can choose to resit other subjects, and I'll talk about that a lot more at the end. But if you are required to resit English or maths, you will need to attend compulsory resit lessons. This is in order to extend your knowledge so that when you resit the exam again, you're in a better position to do so. And you'll do that with one of our GCSE English teachers or maths teachers. Now, these compulsory lessons will be on a weekly basis, and they'll take part during the enrichment time at the end of the school day. So, as I said earlier, if you are joining us from a school that isn't Samuel Ward, it may be worth you just pausing this presentation to take a note of, or just maybe even a photograph on your phone, the times of the school day. Okay, now one of the differences between being a post-16 student in Year 12 to being a Key Stage 4 student in Year 11 is that Year 12 students are required to attend tutor time only 3 days a week, not 5. On the days that you do not have tutor time, and this is written in the blue box at the top next to Miss Coe's face, you must arrive to school by 9 AM. However, if you do have a period 1 on that day, period 1 starts at 8:45, so of course you need to be in school before 9. The first thing that you should do when you arrive to school at a day when you don't have tutor time is sign in with Miss Coe in the sixth form block. That's really important, otherwise you won't get your morning mark and we won't realise that you're in school, and a phone call will be made home to see where you are. In the sixth form we have fortnightly assemblies, and these are on week B of the timetable, and the next slide, when I get onto it, will explain that in a little bit more detail. You can see from the table on the right of the screen what days you have tutor time. You don't need to be in Monday for tutor time, but you have tutor time on Tuesday, Thursday and Friday. Now, during tutor time, your tutor will make sure that the register is taken properly and promptly so that we know who's in school. We'll communicate the week's key notices if there's any events coming up, careers events or anything socially that you need to know about. Your tutor will let you make sure that you're aware of them. Your tutor is also the first point of contact if you have any issues or concerns. They will deliver the 6-back programme, support you with your time management, offer one-to-one mentoring, and again, just deliver any key information regarding life after the sixth form, whether that's about university, apprenticeship, or going into the world of work. You will find out who your tutor is on the first day with us in September, not before, because that will give us enough time to make sure that your timetables are all sorted out once we've been enrolled, and your first tutor time with us will be a chance, probably a little bit extended than the normal tutor time, to meet and greet and get used to who your tutor is and what room you're in. So here at HC6 we follow a 2-week timetable. We have week A followed by week B. The balance of lessons and supervised studies on each week may not be the same. So in week A you might have more lessons than supervised study, and on week B you might have more supervised study than lessons. That's because we try and make sure we offer a really wide curriculum, not only to you guys but to our younger school, and therefore the 2-week timetable allows room for those different subjects to be taken. Your first day with us at HC6 will be Thursday the 3rd of September, and that is week A. The example timetable on here is from a student that's just left, and as you can see the timetable goes downwards. So Monday's lessons, you've got Monday period 1, S study, supervised study, Monday 2, supervised study again, Monday 3 chemistry, Monday 4 maths, Monday 5 physics. So if you want to pause and have a look at this timetable you can, but my advice would be just to wait until I've clicked this button, and there you go. You could pause this presentation now so you can see what a week A and week B timetable looks like. So another key difference between being a student in Year 11 and being a student in Year 12 is that your timetable is not full of your academic subjects for all 5 periods of the day. The text in white on this slide inside that navy blue box is taken directly from our behaviour policy and outlines our expectations of students during their supervised study sessions. The supervised study sessions are they're not an opportunity to sit around for an hour getting bored and doing nothing. If you wanted to do that, you probably wouldn't be coming into full-time education to carry on with your studies. So you need to think that this is not a chance just to sit in a room and do nothing. A large part of post-16 education, whether you're at college or whether you're at sixth form with us, is handed over to the development of you as an independent learner, and that's set out by the government. Your teachers will set extra work on top of homework for you to complete during the supervised study session. That could be a separate research project to something you're doing in class. It could be extended research reading. It could be to create a new resource for your lesson. Lots of different things your teachers will be setting you. And it's your responsibility to manage this extra work alongside your classwork and your homework. Perhaps creating a weekly study plan would be something that would be beneficial for you here. And Miss Coe and Mr Hogg can help you to prioritise your time at any point that you need them. Just send them an email and they'll book an appointment with you and go through a way to work out the best way for you to manage your supervised study. In order to help you in these sessions, we have our dedicated sixth form block. There are 4 study rooms. Within that block, there's 1 silent study room. There's 2 group rooms where you can sit in a table with some of your friends, of course, at the moment at a 1 metre plus distance, in order to talk about your studies quietly. But we also have the ICT room as well, where you can go off and work independently on any of your BTEC assignments. That is usually the type of work that you would do in there, but again, A-level students, you're more than welcome to use the ICT room as well. It's really important as well that you read the navy blue text that's in the light blue box under Miss Coe's face, because if you do have a supervised study during period 4, you must register with Miss Coe at the start of this session, because that registration mark acts as your afternoon registration mark. If you do not get that mark, your attendance will be affected and a phone call home will be made, because of course we might not know where you are on site at that time, and we need to be aware of where everybody is. You do not want your attendance to be affected negatively just because you forgot to sign in with Miss Co during a supervised study in period 4. Now there's a lot of information on this slide, so what I'd like you to do is just pause this presentation and just read through everything one more time to make sure you're totally confident in the things that I've spoken about so far. So at HC6, we pride ourselves on delivering high quality lessons for all of our students. Our teaching staff, the teachers that you have each day, are all experts within their fields and plan and deliver exciting and inspiring lessons adapted to suit the needs of individual learners. We understand and appreciate that everybody learns in a different way, and you might not fully grasp the concept of it straight away if it's been delivered in a way that isn't accessible to you. So your teacher will work hard and work with you to make sure that the content has gone in, you've understood it, you've been able to reflect on it, and you're then able to manipulate it to develop your learning further. Your teachers will deliver whole class content and also provide opportunities for one-to-one support and mentoring within the lesson, but also many of them will offer you that one-to-one mentoring outside of your lesson. If they're not teaching, for instance, on a period 3 on Thursday, and you also have a supervised study at that time, you could ask for a one-to-one support mentoring session then. What our goal is, at the core of all of our subjects, is to prepare you for the next stage in your educational career or professional life. Your lessons are here no longer to just say I've got 10 GCSEs, but to say I've completed a qualification that prepares me for higher education at university, to study at degree level, to walk into an apprenticeship, or to start a new job confidently and better than anyone else could. So it's really important that you take on that responsibility and that attitude of career-driven focus right from day one. Your teachers will have high expectations of you at all times in order to support this. New content and some tasks may be challenging at first, but you just have to remember that success doesn't come instantly, and if it does, it isn't worth it. Instead, as I've said, your teacher will work with you to develop your ability to overcome the academic hurdles that you're faced with. Homework will be set alongside additional reading, and both of these can be completed during your supervised study sessions, as I've already outlined previously. Again, the white text is taken from our behaviour policy and outlines our expectations of students during your lessons, so please do pause this presentation and take a moment to read this slide in full. Okay, as I've said, our goal at HC6 is to ensure that you guys follow a curriculum path that is suitable to them and prepares you for your progression to higher education or the world of work. Some students do join us in September and by October are thinking, hang on, this course isn't now for me. Don't panic. We do accept course changes, but there is a procedure that you have to follow. If your course, you find that your courses that you've chosen do not suit or fulfill the brief above about making sure you are able to progress and prepare for higher education in the world of work, you need to arrange a meeting with your head of year, that's Mr. Hogg in the photo, to discuss your concerns. The next thing that you need to do is speak to the teacher of the course that you're now unsure about. Explain to them why you're not convinced it's for you. Discuss the areas that you're struggling with or that you're not finding as engaging as you thought, and see what their opinion is, and see if they can highlight to you other things that will happen in the course that perhaps may outweigh your concerns, and you think, oh okay, actually this is just a little bit of anxiety because it's the start of a new course. The next thing that you would need to do is speak to the teacher of the course you'd like to join, because there's no point leaving one course and joining another if it's not fully thought through or you haven't got an insight into all of the information that you need. Therefore, by speaking to the teacher of the new course, you'll get that insight and you'll understand as much as possible. Because the thing is, once you've changed course once, that's usually it, because otherwise it goes on too far into your curriculum year and you won't then catch up on the work if you then change course another time. The next thing you have to do is you need to discuss your concerns with your parent or your guardian. They are a big part in your education and they need to be kept up to date with the decisions that you are making. We do encourage our students to begin to think independently for themselves and to take a conscious control over their studies, but that doesn't mean you just get to do what you want when you want without having discussions with your parent or guardian. Finally, if after those 4 steps you are convinced that changing course is right for you, your parents are happy, your guardian's happy, the teachers that you're joining the course of are happy, and the teacher that you're leaving understands, then you need to meet with Mr. Hogg once more to confirm that course change. Please, again, if you feel you need to, pause this presentation to make sure you've read that information and you understand the process that you must follow. One key piece of information on this slide is that you have until October half term to discuss your course choices with your head of year. If it is left any later than this, course changes are not likely to happen. You will have already completed a course for half a term, and starting a BTEC or an A-level half a term behind the rest of the class is not ideal and is something we definitely do not encourage. Okay, break and lunch. So our break is from 10:55 to 11:10 and lunch is from 13:10 to 13:50. Because of the shortness of the lunch break, 15 minutes, it's plenty for break actually, but it is a short amount of time. Students are not allowed to sign out of the sixth form at break. You must stay on the school site. You may purchase food or drink from the cafe at any point during break or lunch, and you can pay with cash or with parent pay, and we'll support you to get that set up when you join us in September. You are, however, allowed to sign out at lunch. Our lunch break is 40 minutes long, and being late back is not acceptable. If you leave the site, you must sign out with Miss Coe and be back in time to sign in with Miss Coe and arrive to period 5 on time. So really what you probably need to do is get yourself into the mindset of lunch is 30 minutes because you need the 5 minutes to sign out and the 5 minutes to sign in and get to your next lesson when you return. If you do not sign out, a phone call home will be made and this privilege will be suspended for you. The reason being is we need to know who's on site at all times for safeguarding issues, if the fire drill goes, and also to make sure that you guys are protected and under our care as fully as you should be. It is your responsibility at your age of joining us. You are more than capable to remember, I need to go and sign out. Oh, I need to sign back in, I'm back on site. Please do make sure you do that. The navy text in the light blue box is taken from our behaviour policy and outlines our expectations of our students when they're in the cafe throughout the day. The cafe is a great place. It's a wonderful resource that we've got in the sixth form. No other students are welcomed into the sixth form from Samuel Ward to use it. It is totally your cafe. Some teachers do sneak in and sneak out though because the coffee here is the best in the school. You may buy food from the cafe during supervised study sessions. Because a lot of you might choose to take your break during one of these sessions when the cafe is less busy. But you have got to remember, no food or drink can be eaten or drank inside the study rooms. Please just use the cafe area for that. Sian is the most wonderful lady and she runs our cafe. She's the heart and soul of the sixth form. All of our students love her and she will absolutely welcome you in and be there for you just for a quick chat or a little gossip every now and then. Okay, the next 8 slides are going to take you through our behaviour expectations and you can find all of the information that I'm going to talk about in the behaviour policy. And at the end of this presentation, one of your tasks is to go through and read that policy to make sure you're fully aware of everything that's within it. So the first thing we're going to talk about are the non-negotiables. We're then going to talk about pace points, interventions and support. We'll talk about the golden lanyard and home study afternoons, both of them part of our reward system. We'll go through our dress code, the fire drill and what student support is on offer for you as a student at HC6. So, the non-negotiables. I'm not going to read through this list because it is your responsibility to know these. So what I would like you to do is to pause this presentation and make sure you read through all of those bullet points. These are what we basically expect from you every single day. Please pause it now and read through them. Okay, I think you'll agree there's nothing on there that should cause surprise or cause shock to you. All of those non-negotiables are about creating you guys in a position that you're ready to leave the sixth form in an adaptable, mature, responsible way in order to start your career or higher education. Now at HC6 we do like to track your performance, okay, not only for our benefit, for yours. We use Go for Schools and you will get a Go for Schools account set up as soon as you join us in September. You can download the app and you can track this at home on your phone. Your parents will have the ability to see what's going on as well, and on Go for Schools you'll be able to look at your current grade, your progress check, your attendance percentage, but also your behaviour points, and we call these PACE points within the sixth form. So over time your teachers will use PACE points in lessons to record acknowledgements of positive behaviour, which will be used to inform the writing of references by us guys, but teachers may also log negative concerns on Go for Schools as well. The 4 PACE categories holistically embody the HC6 approach, and as such they act as the key areas for staff to monitor your behaviour. So the P stands for progress, A attendance, C conduct, and E endeavour. So a positive PACE point. This is worth 5 positive points on your Go for Schools account. It is about excellent performance and it's typified by the behaviours but not exclusive to these listed. So sustained progress, academic excellence, long-term attendance, consistent punctuality, sustained high-quality homework, sustained hard work, participation in a significant HC6 event. For instance, have you led an assembly? Are you taking part in a drama event? Have you played an instrument or sang in a music concert? Basically something which is not expected of everybody to take part in. Are you taking on a lot of independent extracurricular activities and positive participation in student leadership programs that support the lower school? Have you been a really effective peer mentor, for example? All of these things, your teachers, us as the senior leadership team of HC6, we can award you positive PACE points and they will add up and they will be scored on your Go for Schools. The negative PACE points. So this is about underperformance, typified by behaviours such as, but not exclusive to these listed here. So the student frequently fails to produce their best work. They frequently lack basic equipment. For instance, if you're doing BTEC sport and you constantly do not have a kit to get changed into, or you're not wearing appropriate clothing in order to take part in the practical lessons. The student frequently does not focus on the task, becomes engaged in off-task conversation, gives up on tasks without trying, frequently late to lessons, does not send an email requesting missed work if you've been absent. That is very important. If you have missed school for an acceptable reason, you need to make sure that you are catching up on the work that you've missed. Homework is often not handed in on time and is of poor quality. You are not meeting coursework deadlines. You're frequently impolite. You do not respect school equipment or the environment. Student is often distracted by others or disrupting the learning of others. Student does not apply the HC6 values in the lessons, and student does not manage their time effectively. All of these things will result in you gaining negative PACE points, so minus 5 points each time you get one on your Go for Schools. So Mr. Hogg, Mr. Maltby, Ms. Coe and I, we will all meet regularly, usually on a weekly basis, to discuss individual students and their positive but also their negative PACE points. And where there is an identified need for support, students may receive some or all or one of the following interventions, and we will utilise our professional judgment to infer the level of intervention required. Please take a moment to pause this presentation and have a read through these different types of interventions that you could expect to receive if you're falling behind in work or if you've accumulated a lot of negative PACE points. Okay, so moving on to some of our awards. The Golden Lanyard. This is a massive part of the HC6 culture and our commitment to recognising excellence within the students. We've even been continuing to award this throughout lockdown, and we're very proud of the achievements of our current Year 12 students. The supervised study sessions throughout the year leading up to lockdown have really helped to support their ability to study independently and have the motivation to do so. Now, every 2 weeks during our sixth form assembly, we will award a golden lanyard to one of our students. That is an actual gold lanyard that can replace your black and white student lanyard if you would wish to wear it around school. It's yours to keep, and it's yours to take pride in. Now, both staff and students can nominate their pupils or their peers, and it can be in recognition of their progress, their attendance, their conduct, their endeavour, just like the PACE points. But this may be linked to their schoolwork, something they've done outside of school, if they've had an achievement in a club or a sport, for instance, that they take part in outside of their classroom as well, if they've helped someone in the lower year, or they're just being a wonderful help around the sixth form block. All of these things could support a nomination for somebody to get the golden lanyard. Now, you can nominate your peers by placing a piece of paper with the name and the reason behind the nomination of the person into the gold postbox, which is in the sixth form office. And each week before our assembly, myself, Mr. Hogg, Mr. Boltman and Mr. Coe will go through all of the nominations, read out the nominations in the assembly, and then award the golden lanyard to the winner of that month. There are 2 golden lanyards per month, so June 2020 will have had 2 nominations, well, lots of nominations, but 2 winners for the golden lanyard. Another method for us for rewarding absolute excellence is that some students will gain home study afternoons. So this is in recognition of excellence, and pupils will gain 1 home study afternoon a week. This will be an afternoon when you have a supervised study session during period 5. You're not missing lessons for this, but you could miss a supervised study session. And you'll be allowed to sign out at the start of lunch. This is at the discretion of your head of year, Mr. Hogg, and is not instantly available to every pupil. So you can only sign out at lunch and go home for a home study afternoon if Mr. Hogg has authorised this, contacted your parents, and everybody is in the know. Home study afternoons are not granted to anyone before October half term, because in order to be eligible for this, you have to have met the bullet points below. So your attendance at October half term is above 96%. You're on track in all of your lessons. You've met every deadline, including homework that's been set by all of your teachers. You've never forgotten to sign in or sign out if you leave the school site at lunch, for instance, or for an authorised absence, and you do not have any negative PACE points. If you come into this category and you have the ability to be recognised of excellence and therefore gain a home study afternoon, Mr. Hogg will be in contact with you and arrange a one-to-one meeting after October half term to determine what day of the week you would like to take your home study period on. Now, this is 100% about rewarding excellence. If, however, once you've got your home study afternoon, things start to drop and slip down a little bit, this will be taken back off you to promote your ability to get back on track in your lessons. It doesn't mean to say you can't gain it again, but it will be revoked to ensure that you are back on track in all of your lessons. Again, as with some of our other slides, by all means feel free to pause the presentation now to make sure you've taken in all of this information and that it's very clear for you. Okay, so our dress code. The Haverhill Community Sixth Form dress code has been tailored to create an appropriate balance between the need to meet the high expectations that we have of our students and the need to express individual style. We expect our sixth form students to set good examples to their younger peers, promoting the same values and showcasing their maturity as the oldest pupils within the school. Dressing smartly is therefore an essential part of this. We recognise that the progression into post-16 education marks a step into adulthood for our students, and so we have created a dress code wherein they can foster the responsibility that comes with that step by requiring them to dress smartly, whilst also granting some personal freedom and choice. So as a sixth former, you no longer need to wear uniform, but you should dress appropriately for a working environment in school. Smart casual is the main thing you need to think about. This list here does outline things that are not acceptable. One thing that is an absolute focus every minute of the day within the sixth form is that you always wear your student lanyard and ID badge. Because you're in non-uniform, you could be potentially anybody on our school site. We know that we have given every one of our sixth form students their black student lanyard. It's black with student written on it in white, and an ID badge. Therefore, that's your part of your uniform, if you would like. You don't have a uniform in terms of your clothes, but you do have a uniform in terms of that lanyard. As with every member of staff that's on site, they too have to wear a lanyard, and this is about becoming a responsible adult. It is a requirement, it's not an option. So what I'd like you to do now is to just pause this presentation and read down through the rest of the bullet points about the things that are not acceptable in order to be dressed smartly and prepared for sixth form life. Okay, now should the fire alarm sound, what you'll hear is a repetitive alarm on a continuous loop. That loop will not stop until it is safe to do so. So if you hear that noise, you have to react in this way. You'll leave your classroom or the sixth form block quickly, but calmly and in silence. Our school is a really big site with a lot of pupils on it, and we need to make sure that that atmosphere is calm and silent in order to allow the teachers to do the job that they need to do, which is to make sure everybody on site is recorded and knows where they are. As the oldest pupils in the school, it is your responsibility to make sure you follow that and to be a role model for the younger peers. What you're going to do is you're going to walk towards the school field or your designated area in silence. If you have a designated area, you will know about that before any fire alarm is given, because we will inform you of that on the very first day of school. We line up in our tutor groups in alphabetical order. You remain silent whilst the register has been taken and whilst we're waiting for the fire alarm loop to stop, because we know that it's safe. And you wait to be instructed to leave the field by your head of year. Return to your lessons or the sixth form block in silence. Fire alarm is a calm, needs to be a calm atmosphere, and you guys as the oldest people in the school need to absolutely model that for the younger peers around you. On your first day joining us in September, you will get a map of the school grounds, and you'll be shown exactly where you need to go and line up. For those students that haven't been at Samuel Ward before, this is a really key piece of information for you. Don't worry, you will have that. Okay, the final part to discuss when we're thinking about behaviour expectations in school and at HC6 is our student support. Miss Co is, like Sian, one of the heart and souls of our sixth form. She's based in the sixth form block every day, and she holds drop-in sessions where people can just pop in and have a chat with her about their day, what's been happening, how things are going. Normally after the weekend people find themselves doing this, or they can request a more private one-to-one mentoring session with Miss Co. She will be able to support you emotionally, academically and socially with issues both inside and outside of school. There are some things that she cannot keep to herself and may have to pass on the details to external services or call home about, but she'll be clear about this if it is the case. Now, you might be feeling anxious, depressed, stressed, tired, you might feel overworked, and if you're feeling any of these things, do not keep it to yourself. Go and talk to Miss Co. Send Mr. Hogg an email. Find me in the corridor. We are all here to support you with it. If you're feeling any of those things, we offer a lot of support. Okay, you can get one-to-one sessions, as I've said, with Miss Co. She could offer CBT. We can refer you to external agencies like 4YP Counselling. We are able to support you with careers and UCAS advice. There is financial support for you as well through the sixth form bursary, and this will become introduced to you when you join us in September. Miss Co also runs public speaking support sessions for people that really struggle to put their hand up in class or that are finding it difficult to talk to people that they don't know. All of these areas of support are there for you to access, and in order to do so, speak to a member of the team Mr Hogg, Mr Maltby, myself, Miss Coe, Sean in the cafe even, and we will all work together to make sure that you get that time with Miss Coe in order to develop your confidence with how you're feeling and gain that control again. If there's anything else you need to know before you join in September, you can just send Miss Coe an email, and I will include all of our email addresses in the original email that I sent you with this presentation in. At HC6 we really do pride ourselves on the level of excellence in our student support. We are a small sixth form, and all of our team, Mr Maltby, Mr Hogg, Miss Coe and I, we know all of our students, not just the people that come to see us regularly because they've got excellent pace points or they've got lots of negative ones. We know all of you by name, and we are there for each and every single one of you. So do not ever feel afraid to make contact with us, to send us an email, or to just reach out for some support if you need it. We're here for you every day. Okay, the next 4 slides are about our attendance expectations, and again, just with the behaviour expectations, these are outlined in our attendance policy, and one of your jobs today is to go and read that document. So I'm going to talk about student expectation, monitoring and intervention, acceptable reasons for being absent, and unacceptable reasons. So what I would like you to do is just pause this presentation and read through these bullet points below. This is what we expect of you every single day, and it is the opening part of our attendance policy. You need to make sure you meet these expectations. The reason that we have these expectations of you is because attendance is vital in aiding you to strive for your best. Quite simply, if you're not in lesson, you are not able to access your learning. If you're not in supervised study, you are not able to extend that learning. If you're not in tutor time, or if you're not in assembly, you're missing vital information about the sixth form, life in general, career advice, financial advice, and a wealth of other topics. Furthermore, all of the references that we have to complete for your next steps when you leave the sixth form ask for an up-to-date percentage record of your attendance, and we want to give the best one we possibly can to ensure that you've got the best opportunity to take that next step. Finally, if you're not in school, you're missing out on seeing your friends, making memories, and being a sociable person, which is a massive part of your post-16 education. If getting into school is a struggle for you, again, we will offer a lot of support, and there are different interventions that we'll put in place. And these are outlined on the slide below, or the slide I'm going to click now. So we will monitor attendance, and we will offer interventions, okay? And there are 4 stages to our intervention process. Stage 1, if your attendance percentage drops below 95%, you'll receive an email from your head of year telling them that they must attend a meeting with them in order to set targets or to offer support. You know, not everyone only attends because they've made the decision not to come to school. There might be an issue or an obstacle getting in the way of you coming to school, and we're there to support you, not just to penalise you, okay? So we will help you to get into school every day and to put measures into place that are supportive for you. This first meeting isn't necessarily a negative meeting. It is a supportive one and a well-rounded one to ensure that you can access your learning. The next stage would be where there are no improvements to attendance during that period of monitoring, and therefore a letter will be sent home to your parents, and it will be informing them of the situation and inviting them into school for a meeting with Mr Hogg and you guys. Your attendance will then be monitored for a further 2 weeks so that we can identify any significant improvements and to make sure that you're managing to get yourself back on track. Most pupils at this point do manage to get themselves back on track, overcome the hurdles that they were faced, and as a team with their parents and with their head of year, were able to resolve the issue. It's rare, but if in the rare instance that your attendance does not improve after stage 1 and stage 2, and indeed further declines, another letter will be sent home to your parents, your carers, your guardians, informing them of the situation and inviting them in for a meeting with myself as the head of sixth form. You will be welcome to the meeting too, and this is when we really get to grips on it. What is the issue? Why are you not attending? And more, stronger targets will be set in order to make sure that we do not go any further declining down into the depths of lower and lower attendance. At this point, a written warning will be issued if it's appropriate for you guys. If further still no improvements are made, I will have a meeting with Mr. Hunter, the head teacher of the whole school, and I will hand over the ongoing attendance concerns and all of our implemented interventions and support processes that you have had as a student in order to improve your attendance to them. The student may be presented with a request to leave the sixth form if they are persistently absent from school and continuously refusing to engage with the intervention processes and procedures. This is highly rare, but should it happen, all the appropriate disciplinary proceedings will be decided by the head teacher, and the parents and the carers and the guardians of the student will be involved in the process. I really hope that this never happens to any of you guys, but as you can see, this is quite an intense level of support, level of intervention. If we do get to stage 4 and your attendance has declined and there is no engagement from you, then perhaps leaving the sixth form is what is right. Okay, if you are going to be absent from school, Miss Co must be informed of this before 8:40 AM, so before meeting or tutor time starts. A phone call home will be made if you're not marked present and we're not aware of an acceptable reason as to why. So if you've already informed Miss Co the week before that you're not going to be in and it's been logged, that's absolutely fine. If not, a phone call must be made on the morning of your absence to Miss Co to explain why you are not in school. Now, this list below is identifying our acceptable reasons for being absent from school. So pause this presentation and have a read through this, please. If this is the reason you're not in school, then it is acceptable and it will be noted as that. Okay, and now to the unacceptable reasons for being absent from school. If you are not in school and these are the reasons, it will be marked as an unauthorised absence and therefore it will go against your attendance negatively. One key thing for me to highlight here is driving lessons are not acceptable to be booked during the school day. If you are starting to learn to drive, like many of our sixth form students do, it either needs to be very early before school or it needs to be after school. School ends at 2:50. You cannot book a driving lesson during the school day. Please, if you could pause this presentation now and just read through the other bullet points to make sure you're aware of what we would not accept as a reason for being absent from school. So in order to create an excellent personal statement for university or a standout CV ready for your apprenticeship or the line of work that you want to take when you leave us in 2 years and start to think about life after sixth form, you need to step outside of your comfort zone, go the extra mile or try something new. And these 3 things will support you to do that whilst you're studying at HC6. These are our extracurricular opportunities. So you'll be completing the 6-back within tutor time, and it comprises of 4 main components which you will complete over the space of your first year at HC6. Each of these sections has been specifically designed based upon the feedback from employers and admissions tutors at universities. So you'll look at academic excellence, you'll complete some work experience, you will complete an independent research project, and you will have to participate in extracurricular events, which might be holding a charity event or running an enrichment or a club within the school. The EPQ is the extended project qualification, and it's a level 3 A-level standard qualification that we complete with AQA. You'll be considered for entry for this qualification if and when you've completed your independent research project, and that happens in your 6-back over here. It will gain you the equivalent of half an A-level in UCAS points, so when you're applying to university you could end up with 3 A-levels and a half, or 3 BTECs and half an A-level, and universities love to see this on student applications, including Russell Group ones. You can complete this during year 13 and you'll be fully inducted onto the course at the end of year 12. We're always looking to run new clubs within the sixth form. We've held yoga classes previously and had a very successful politics and cake club run by Mr. Hogg. We're open to running any form of club, so if you have an idea, just let us know. And every half term we hold staff versus student events Recently we've had netball, we've had football in the past, dodgeball. I think we were looking at having volleyball quite soon, but it doesn't always have to be sport based. If you wanted to challenge us, for instance, to a spelling bee or a bake off, all of these things can get organised and is a great way of building on the social atmosphere within the sixth form. Also, we're currently in the lead. The students as yet haven't beaten us last year, so come on, get together and see if you can take us on. Not only do extracurricular activities and opportunities help to create that standout CV or that excellent personal statement, student leadership opportunities and getting involved in charity work do as well. We have a 6LT, which is our student leadership team within the HC6 community, and you can apply for one of the roles, and if successfully appointed, you'll play a huge part in the organisation and running of charity, social, sport and academic events for your peers. As a team, you will meet weekly and act as the voice of all of the sixth form students. You'll communicate with the heads of year and the head of sixth form, myself, regularly. The roles that you can apply for are president, vice president, sports rep, social rep, charities rep, wellbeing rep and academic rep. It's a great way to get yourself in on that leadership experience and makes you really stand out when you apply to apprenticeships, to jobs and to university. We also offer peer mentoring within the sixth form, and we recognise that our students, you guys, have a wealth of knowledge and experience that you can utilise to support the younger peers within the school who might be finding their day-to-day life in school difficult, so completing homework, attending lessons on time, being punctual. And this is a well-respected role and comes with a lot of responsibility. You'll receive safeguarding training and be teamed up with a pupil from Key Stage 3 to meet with on a weekly basis to act as a mentor. You will support them with their schoolwork, worries, homework and inform the safeguarding team if you have any concerns for their well-being. If you're thinking about a career in teaching or working with children in any form, whether that's a sports coach, whether it's working in a primary school, whether it's being in a nursery nurse, or you're thinking about the health and social care career, this is absolutely a job for you. If you're thinking about becoming a counsellor, for example, this would be a wonderful experience for you to take up. Our HC6 charity is Mind, and throughout the year we'll hold charity events to raise money for this course. So fancy dress days, cake sales, we do lip sync battles, sports endurance events, raffles, end of term quizzes, anything you can think of. We are more than willing to hold in order to raise money for our charity. Okay, so enrolling with us at HC6. We will be holding an enrolment day so that you're prepared to start lessons on the first day of the autumn term. What that day will look like, whether it's like our usual enrolment days or if it has to be different because of the current pandemic, we're currently finalising all of these decisions at the moment. And my team and I will make sure that the day adheres to all government advice and ensures that everybody here, whether it's in person or whether it's virtually, is safe and well. You will receive all of the relevant information regarding enrolment via email to your email address, and I will copy your parents in on or before the last day of this term. So keep an eye out on your emails right the way up until the 17th of July to get that information about our enrolment day. Entry requirements. So to successfully gain a place to study on our A-level and BTEC courses, you do need to meet the course entry requirements. Currently, as you should be aware from a letter that I wrote to you earlier on in the year, these have been slightly relaxed to ensure that you are able to continue to study the courses that support your progress into further education, apprenticeship programs or work. The courses that you choose to study should directly link to your strengths as a learner, and this is why we continue to use albeit relaxed entry requirements, as your post-16 education should advance your academic achievements and not hinder them. We don't want you to be on a course that you are not able to access or that is going to be too challenging to access, and after half a term, you are really finding it hard and you're not enjoying your time at the sixth form. As I've said, You can change courses throughout the year. You have until October half term to do so, but you can also now change the course that you've identified on your application form or in your interview. If back then you said you wanted to study, for instance, my subject, film studies, but now you're actually thinking, no, I'd rather do sociology, this is the time to make those decisions. And you do not have to clarify what subjects you want to teach until the enrolment day happens. Now we are going to offer, of course, as we do every year, the opportunity for students to resit English and Maths. If they have not got their English and Maths, it is a requirement of all post-16 places to offer that support. So whether you're at college or whether you're with us, if you did not get English and Maths, we will support you, offer you lessons that are compulsory to attend in order to support you to gain those subjects. But due to the unprecedented changes to the GCSE exam process this year, all students will have the opportunity to resit their GCSEs in all of their subjects and actually take the exams that they were awarded a calculated grade for during the autumn term. So you will get your calculated grades in August on results day, and if you would like to resit any of those exams, you can during the autumn term when you're a Year 12 student. This is important though. If you've joined us from SWA, Samuel Ward, you'll be entered for these exams through Samuel Ward. If you've joined us from somewhere else, the school that you previously attended, so for instance if you're from Castle Manor, that school, Castle Manor, will enter you for those exams and you will sit them with at Castle Manor. Again, if you've joined us from Linton, or if you've joined us from Stour, or if you've joined us from further afield like Cast, it's their responsibility. But we will help you liaise with your previous school and the organisation of it, but it is their responsibility to enter you. If you are homeschooled, it will then be your responsibility to re-enter yourself for the exams in the same method that you had originally followed. And again, we will offer you the support with this if it is required. Okay guys, so that is the end of our induction presentation. I want to thank you all for taking part in it. Again, I know it's it's not particularly natural to sit and watch this presentation and just listen to my voice, even though you can't see me, but I feel that this presentation has absolutely encompassed everything we would have taken into account on the induction day. In order to complete the induction, these are the steps that you need to do now. First of all, if you haven't done so already, please do go and enjoy Mr. Hogg's induction video and get to meet some of your teachers in the video of the subjects that you'll be taking. You then need to read the ICT Acceptable Use Policy, followed by the Behaviour Policy. You then need to read the Attendance Policy, and finally you need to read the Dress Code. All of these documents have been attached to the email that I originally sent you with this presentation attached to. Finally, there's a questionnaire that you need to complete. You can complete it if you open up the PowerPoint and you can control-click the link below here where my arrow is. Or you could just, for instance, click the link that I send in the original email. Now, you need to have completed this questionnaire by Thursday the 9th of July. And in order to successfully be inducted into the sixth form, we're looking for you to achieve 32 out of 36 in total. If you score less than that, then you're going to need to do the questionnaire again. And this is just to confirm that all of the information that you really do need to have prior to enrolling with us and starting with us in September, you have already got. One of the questions in the questionnaire ask whether you would like a phone call or to arrange a video call over Teams or Zoom with a member from the HC6 leadership team. So myself, Mr. Hogg, Miss Coe. We are more than happy to do that, and we will make sure that that is done before the end of the term. So if you've got any questions or any concerns or anything that you really want to ask or talk to us about, we're more than happy to get in contact with you, and just click yes to that question within the questionnaire. Guys, we really cannot wait to see you all soon. We're so excited to have you joining us as part of our HC6 community. Do enjoy the summer, take care, and just get in touch if you need us. Thank you.